Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Gran Turismo 7 Daily Race C Race and Strategy Guide. Once again, just like last week, we are in Group 3 machinery, and just like last week, we are visiting one of Polyphony Digital's own fictional tracks in reverse. This time is Dragon Trail Seaside. 10 laps to get round. We have tyre wear at times 7 and fuel at times 2. Kind of the standard settings at the moment for Daily Race C. Soft and medium racing tyres are available, both of which are going to be mandatory. BOP is on, damage is light, it's a rolling start, and slipstream is real. So this is Dragon Trail Seaside's debut for Daily Race C in Gran Turismo 7. Wasn't particularly well used in Gran Turismo Sport either. Personally, I actually prefer the track this way around compared to the original. I just think it's more fun, more interesting, and I don't think the chicane of death plays quite as an impact on lap time, which should mean the racing should be a little bit closer, and hopefully, just like last week at Deep Forest Reverse, there should be a good number of cars that will be competitive around here as well. When we did do the track the original way round for a Daily Race C a few months back in Group 3, the BMW M6 was one of the better cars, so having not driven this car a great deal, I decided to use this as the test car. But hopefully, as I said, there should be a good number of competitive cars around here, as the BOP for Group 3 seems in a fairly good place at the moment. So BMW M6 Endurance is the test car. Let's move on to the strategy, and first up we have the soft medium strategy. So starting on the soft tyres, moving on to the medium tyres. The sort of strategy best used if you're starting towards the front of the grid. You don't have to worry too much about traffic, and you can use the potential of those soft tyres without getting interrupted by traffic. If you do start on the soft tyres, the question is going to be, how long will they last and how long will they be competitive? So we'll jump forward here to lap 5, and as you can see, this track in this direction with this tyre wear is soft tyres on times 7 tyre wear, of course, is an absolute destroyer of tyres. So after 5 laps, they're pretty much nearly gone. Now you can get 5 laps out of the soft tyres, but the 5th lap I don't think exactly is going to be worth it. The tyre wear is so bad that you're probably easily going to be slower than a fresh set of mediums. So we're going to pit here at the end of lap 5, but I think if you're starting on the soft tyres, if you're looking for the optimal strategy, you'd be better off pitting on lap 4. So into the pits we come. Not too much to worry about in terms of the white line. Obviously, don't cross over it, you'll get a 3-second penalty, but yeah, no worries about kind of accidentally crossing that line. Should be any worries. So into the pit box we come fairly quickly. That was 12 seconds from the pit stop animation start, and 3.6 seconds to get the tyres changed. It is a fairly short pit loss at 16 seconds. Do be careful of the white line on the exit, and you do take control of the car a little bit earlier than you might expect, so you are driving the car out the pit lane almost, and you are going to have to be wary of traffic as you exit into turn 1 as well. It's going to be a good number of problems at that pit exit as the week progresses. In terms of fuel, of course, times 2 fuel, it's only 10 laps around a 1 minute 40 track, so fuel is no issue whatsoever. So how are our medium tyres now comparing to our soft tyres? So the soft tyres performed reasonably, what sort of word is that? The soft tyres performed reasonably well until lap 4. 138.5 being our last flying lap on the soft tyres before we pitted at the end of lap 5. In terms of the medium tyres, actually the gap between the mediums and the soft is not quite as big as you might expect. It's more like 7 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths. And obviously as the soft tyres degrade quite quickly after a couple of laps, that gap comes down pretty rapidly. So the medium tyres are pretty competitive here, and you'll definitely get 6 good laps out of them, or 5 good laps out of them, no problem whatsoever. 16 minutes 44 for the finishing time is a little bit short for a Daily Race C, but it is what it is. Moving on then to the alternative strategy, and that is starting on the medium tyres and finishing on the soft tyres. Quite often if you start on the medium tyres, you're looking to get that undercut and try and skip some of the cars in the pits and get that track position. So how much of an undercut is actually possible for this week? Now we've seen from the first run that we can do 5 laps on the soft tyres with the full fuel, but the tyres are dying pretty much towards the end. So the maximum you're actually going to be able to do on the soft tyres, as we have done here, is 6 laps, but they are going to feel very, very second hand towards the end of the run. So yeah, we pitted at the end of lap 4 here from the medium tyres, and we've moved on to the soft tyres here, and you can see lap 9 there, a 1:38.5 is similar to the lap times we were doing on the mediums, and we're well off the pace here on this final lap on our soft tyres, but they are still drivable. You still have a little bit of tread available, so the maximum undercut I think anybody's going to be able to do in this one is 6 laps. Now you may well get 7 laps depending on maybe if you're using like the BRZ or some other car that is very, very kind on the tyres, but I think for most people you're looking at the maximum 6 laps on the soft tyres as an undercut doing the alternative strategy. And as I said, you're going to be kind of suffering on the tyres on the last couple of laps, and you'll probably be slower than somebody who is on the medium tyres at this point in the race. But yeah, 6 laps is your maximum, is your undercut potential for this one. Again, finishing time for that one coming in at 60 minutes 42.7, but that's pretty much it for the strategy. Let's just quickly run through the strategy options though, just before we move on to the lap guide. So in terms of optimal strategy, if you're starting on the soft tyres, finishing on the mediums, you're looking at 4 or 5 laps on the soft tyres, 5-6 laps on the mediums. For me, 4 laps on the soft, 6 laps on the mediums would be slightly better for most people. Of course, this could depend or vary a little bit depending on the car. If you're starting on the medium tyres, I think you're probably better off doing 5 mediums, 5 softs. You could do 6 mediums, 4 softs, but you're probably going to be getting undercut by everybody and losing track position. So I think if you start in the mediums, do the 5 laps on the soft tyres is probably the best way of doing it. And your undercut strategy is going to be 4 laps on the mediums, 6 laps on the soft tyres. Just the way the tyre wear works in the game at the moment, and the sort of tyre wear model just means we don't quite have the flexibility at this one like we did at Deep Forest Reverse last week in the Group 3 machinery. To be honest with you, this happens quite often with the soft and the mediums. The flexibility of the strategy is kind of compromised a little bit. Mediums and hards do give you more options on the strategy because you can run slightly longer stints on the tyres, but once we move to the soft and mediums, we very much get shoehorned into a limited strategy window. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's going to be pretty much split down the middle for most people, or 1 lap either way, pretty much in a nutshell. Let's move on to our lap guide then of Dragon Trail Seaside in reverse in the BMW M6. Come down towards turn number 1. You're looking for that kerb on the right hand side or the 100-metre board. It's a downhill braking zone into a left-hander. I think I use the start of the kerb to be more precise. Try and get a tyre on that kerb on the inside. Exit is quite important as this is the run down. It's a fairly long run down towards the chicane of death, or the chicane of souls as we like to call it. Don't go side by side through here with anyone, by the way, whether you're going for the overtake or trying to defend, just don't go side by side. But just at the kerb on the inside of the track there, under the shadow, just after the 100-metre board, as you're kind of lift off the throttle, throw the car in, you can take plenty of kerb, and it's quite satisfying and actually much more fun taking the chicane that way than it is the other way. So 100-metre board for probably the trickiest corner on the track. Really interesting corner, good overtaking zone. You're looking to get late apex for this one as you trail it in. Very hard to actually sometimes get the car into that apex. We actually miss it ourselves. Be careful of the kerb on the exit. It's very high. If you're on a little bit wide, you'll ground the car out and you shall probably see quite a lot of people spin there as the week goes on. Coming to the fast downhill S, so just after the 50-metre board, it's a little bit of a blind exit, but after the 50-metre board, turn the car in. You want to give it a slight little lift just to make sure you get the car over to the middle of the track or over to the right of the track, and just about threading the car through here in the nicest possible way to get the maximum lap time. Very tricky as well. You'll definitely see people run wide into the barrier on the downhill section there. 100-metre board, or just at the start of the curve for that, again another tricky downhill braking zone. Get all your braking done in a straight line, scrub off a lot of the speed, come off the gas and the throttle, throw the car in, a big curve there to aim for, and power out as we head up towards the tricky final chicane. So start of the curve here, again you're braking, the kind of entry into the corner is a little bit blind, and what you want to do here, and we don't quite achieve it, you want to get the car more over to the left hand side, almost towards the end of the curb there, before you swing it into the second part of the corner, because you want to really maximise the exit of that chicane as you have the run all the way up the hill to the start finish line. But that's a lap of Dragon Trail Seaside in reverse in the BMW M6, a 137.936. Certainly not the fastest lap you're going to see this week, but hopefully a few pointers there to start the week off before you watch somebody's more comprehensive and better lap guide later on in the day. But yeah, for me, a reasonably fun race. I'm quite looking forward to it. As I said, I prefer this track layout compared to the original. As I said, the chicane doesn't seem quite as impactful on lap time. Should be a good variety of cars available as well. A little bit of a short race at 16.5 minutes, which is a little bit unfortunate. And unfortunately, again, we don't quite have the same strategy, flexibility like we did last week, which is going to mean that pretty much everyone is going to be pitting on lap 4, 5 or 6, depending on your car, your tyre wear, and what tyre you choose to start on. So yeah, strategy is there, but it's not quite, you know, something that's going to have the impact on the race that I would like to see. But all in all, should be good fun. Means we can use some different cars. We'll definitely be live streaming this a couple of times this week, so do join me for that if you can. If you've made it to this part of the video, thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I shall catch you on the next one. Goodbye now.